In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, students in flood-affected areas return to school. Later on, enterprises increase food production, reduce selling prices for flood-hit areas. In our world news, Shanghai braces for Typhoon BEBINCA.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time, and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lidin Lei with the latest updates. Now, Deputy Prime Minister Ho Duc-Phuc has approved the Prime Minister's decision to authorize the Ministry of Finance to distribute food, materials, and equipment from the National Reserve to 8 northern provinces affected by Typhoon Yagi. Over 182 tons of rice, along with essential supplies and equipment, will be distributed to Hưng Yên, Cao Bằng, Phú Thọ, and Bắc Cạn provinces. The aid package includes high-speed boats, generators, life buoys, life rafts, concrete cutting machines, and rescue rope launchers. The people's committees in these provinces must ensure accurate reporting, timely aid distribution, and efficient use of resources for their intended purposes. On Sunday afternoon, Laogai Province approved a site for the construction of the new village, located approximately 2 kilometers from the original settlement, which was destroyed by recent floods. The chosen site is elevated, spacious, and well-suited for infrastructure development, including traffic, electricity, and water systems. Local authorities have consulted with the remaining flood survivors from New Village and secured unanimous support for the relocation. The new homes will be built following the traditional architecture of the Thay ethnic group. Starting Monday, local authorities will begin planning and calculating compensation for site clearance. The new village is expected to be completed by December 31st this year. Students in flood-affected areas have gradually returned to school. Schools across various localities have endured an unprecedented week, suffering the loss of students and teachers due to flash floods. As a result, the day schools reopened brought not only a surge of emotions, but also renewed hope to continue the school year.
After the opening day, many schools had to close due to Storm Yagi. Now they can finally introduce themselves, as people is delighted to be back at school.
I'm so happy to be back. I'm happy.
We never faced such a disaster in Yên Bái. We tried our best to recover and get ready to welcome students back to school.
Over 90% of students in Yên Bái have returned to school today. However, some families are still dealing with flooding, and many roads to schools remain damaged due to erosion.
Students haven't been able to attend school 100% due to family situation and the road condition to travel to school. We think that in a day or two, 100% students will resume to school.
Today in Laogai Province, 77 schools, or about 13% of the total, have not yet resumed teaching. Meanwhile, in Cao Bằng Province, only one school has not been able to reopen. The school will continue their cleanup efforts, and students will return only when safety is guaranteed.
Sausages, sardines, noodles, milk, and even green vegetables are being transported by truck from the south to flood-affected areas in the north. According to the Departments of Industry and Trade, goods are being supplied fully and promptly to the northern provinces. This sufficiency is largely thanks to gardeners and businesses in the southern regions. They have increased production by working overtime and adding shifts. Additionally, they have reduced their profit margins to maintain stable prices for goods transported to the north.
Demand for various sausages and canned foods has risen slightly in recent days, as these products are essential for flood relief efforts. In response, this company has boosted production by 20%.
We have a factory in Tiên Sơn Industrial Park, Bắc Ninh, which is operating 24/7 to fully meet the demand. In addition to the factory in Bắc Ninh, we have increased the goods from factories in the south by transporting additional goods from the north in some areas facing shortages.
Businesses are willing to work overtime and ramp up production. They are also committed to maintaining stable prices by reducing their profit margins.
Prices can be kept stable. We can fully supply goods, as raw materials for production are always prepared 3 to 6 months in advance.
Regarding nutritional milk products, Vinamilk reports that the company can supply 1,500 tons of goods per day.
Every day we maintain 6 transport units, which means 10 containers from the south to the north plus local production is ready to respond to any affected locality.
Not only are many manufacturing enterprises committed to keeping prices stable, but they're also willing to share profits. Essential relief items like sausages, canned goods, and milk for flood-hit areas are being sold at more favorable prices than usual.
In Hanoi, Typhoon Yagi and its aftermath caused severe damage to the city's vegetable production areas. Many greenhouses were destroyed and several hectares of crops were waterlogged. As the water recedes, these production areas are swiftly applying technical advances to the new crop cycle and preparing to supply the market. That is the story of Chang Viet Commune in Mê Linh, one of Hanoi's largest fresh vegetable production regions.
The fields are still waterlogged despite the sunny weather. Trash is scattered across the fields. This is a scene in the Dong Cao vegetable growing area after the water receded.
We've not seen a flood like this in over 20 years. The people are cleaning the fields as the water recedes so they can replant crops as soon as the fields are dry.
Dong Cao Fresh Vegetable Cooperative swiftly purchased vegetables from local farmers after receiving timely updates about the Red River rapid rise. This quick action helped reduce potential damage.
One benefit of the flood is that it soaks the fields, reducing harmful microorganisms that affect vegetables. Normally, production costs range from 40 to 80 USD per hectare. During floods, the cost of inputs such as pesticides and fertilizers drops by at least 50%. This allows the cooperative to maintain large-scale production. If the weather is favorable and it doesn't rain, the people can start preparing and planting on about 15 to 20 hectares in a few days. Mass production in the remaining areas will depend on the weather and how quickly the Red River's water recedes.
Nearly 20 years after shifting to vegetable cultivation, Dong Cao village faces its second severe flood. Despite this setback, the city's largest vegetable production area is poised to resume operations. It aims to restore its daily supply of 200 to 300 tons of vegetables to the capital's market.
The telecommunications network in northern Vietnam is now almost fully operational, improving both mobile and internet services. In Quang Ninh province, Mobifone has restored over 90% of its network, while Vinaphone has repaired 97% of its infrastructure, ensuring reliable communication in many areas. Despite these positive developments, some remote communes in Cao Bằng, Tuyên Quang, Lào Cai, Quảng Ninh, and Hải Phòng still face connectivity issues. The Vietnam Posts and Telecommunications Group, or VNPT, aims to address these problems by September 20th. Viettel has also made substantial progress, reporting that less than 5% of its network remains affected, mainly due to severe landslides. The majority of services have been restored in Bắc Cạn, Lạng Sơn, Điện Biên, Cao Bằng, and Thái Nguyên provinces. Thailand has emerged as Vietnam's largest export market within the ASEAN region, with exports totaling $5.23 billion, up 7.2% compared to the same period last year, according to the General Department of Vietnam Customs. In the first 8 months of this year, trade between Vietnam and ASEAN countries totaled $54.9 billion, up 12.5% from the previous year. This translates to a $5.6 billion trade deficit with the ASEAN bloc. The 6 major ASEAN markets for Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, the Philippines, Cambodia, Malaysia, and Singapore accounted for $28.8 billion in imports, making up 95% of Vietnam's total imports from ASEAN during this period. Before we move on, let's have a look at the exchange rate between the Vietnam dong and some world currencies in today's market. Coming up next on VTV News, Vietnam commits to protecting ozone layer. And later on, Gatma residents help each other recover after Typhoon Yagi. Now, moving on to other important updates. September the 16th marks the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer. This year's theme, Montreal Protocol, Accelerating Climate Action, aims to reduce the use of ozone-depleting substances and greenhouse gases. As global temperatures continue to rise, the use of HCFCs and HFCs, commonly found in refrigeration and air conditioning, is particularly concerning. These substances contribute to climate change and account for about 20% of global electricity consumption. Vietnam, a participant in the Montreal Protocol, aims to eliminate HCFCs by 2040 and reduce HFC consumption by 80%, equivalent to about 11.2 million tons of CO2 by 2045, using technological upgrades and sustainable cooling solutions. Currently, Vietnam has already cut CO2 emissions by 220 million tons through these efforts. The Hydrometeorological Center has warned of widespread thunderstorms across Vietnam until Monday night, with some areas facing very heavy rain in dangerous conditions. The Central Highlands and Southern region will experience heavy rainfall until Tuesday, with some locations receiving over 150 millimeters. This, combined with upstream floods and high tides of the 8th lunar month, is expected to raise flooding in the Mekong River's headwaters 10 to 20 centimeters above Alert Level 1 this weekend, risking riverbank and dike flooding. In the north and from Quang Binh to Binh Thuận provinces, thunderstorms are expected for Monday evening and night, with rainfall exceeding 90 millimeters in some areas, potentially triggering landslides. Meanwhile, river flooding in the north is subsiding, leading to a gradual recovery in the low-lying areas. Import and export activities have resumed at border gates in Lao Cai, Lạng Sơn, and Quảng Ninh provinces. Intersectoral forces have mobilized maximum personnel to expedite goods clearance and manage service prices. The management board of Dong Dang Lạng Sơn Border Gate Economic Zone has agreed with China Pingshan Border Gate to extend customs clearance time by 2 hours daily at the Tân Thanh to Po Chai dedicated freight route to prevent congestion. Meanwhile, 2,200 tons of import and export goods were cleared on Saturday at the temporary pontoon bridge in Mong Cái City, Quảng Ninh Province, after clearance resumed in Dongxing, China. The aquaculture sector in Quảng Ninh and Haiphong has reportedly suffered losses amounting to billions of US dollars. In response, the State Bank of Vietnam has instructed the banking sector to explore options such as debt restructuring, deferrals, debt rescheduling, interest rate support, and continued new loan offerings to help restore production and business activities.
The floating wooden platforms, bamboo structures, and cages seen here are remnants from both large and small fish farms in the aftermath of the typhoon. Phie has 60 cages at sea, with over 90 tons of fish nearing harvest. However, the recent Typhoon Yagi swept everything away, resulting in losses of $500,000 US.
I borrowed 167,000 USD from the bank, but now given the situation, I have no money to pay the interest each month or quarter.
500,000 USD to 625,000 USD for 3 cages. Since yesterday, I've been searching for them. I don't even know which ones are mine.
In Quảng Ninh Province and Haiphong City, nearly 12,000 customers have been affected by Typhoon Yagi, with a total outstanding debt estimated at more than $1 billion. The agriculture, forestry, and aquaculture sectors have borne the brunt of the damage.
We have issued directives to commercial banks to focus on supporting businesses, customers, and households with loans. Customers, especially those in agriculture, rural areas, and aquaculture, must have appropriate mechanisms and policies, such as debt restructuring, interest rate reductions, and new loans, enabling businesses and individuals to access capital and resume operations. Existing debts will be reviewed and handled based on actual conditions.
Debt restructuring, deferrals, rescheduling, and new loans offerings are effective measures to help affected individuals and businesses recover from the damage caused by Typhoon Yagi.
Cat Ba town in Cat Hai Island District, Haiphong City, was one of the areas most severely affected by Typhoon Yagi. Thousands of houses collapsed or lost their roofs, resulting in nearly 200 billion Vietnam dong in damages. In the aftermath, residents and local forces are working together to overcome the typhoon's consequences.
3 days after the storm, the ferry to the island reopened. From 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., 30 minutes a day, food and essential items are brought to the island. Cat Ba endured a power outage and loss of phone signal for nearly a week. Cleaning up after the storm has been a multi-day job requiring many hands. The sense of unity and community support has grown stronger than ever, evident in how people help each other with the cleanup. This man's house suffered severe damage, with its roof and walls blown away.
I hope everyone is safe and that some still have their belongings. We are helping each other recover, even though we are not even family members or acquaintances.
Throughout the island district, officers and soldiers worked tirelessly to clear roads day and night, enabling other teams to swiftly restore power and telecommunication lines. Meanwhile, the Women's Union and Youth Union bolstered their forces to provide additional support to residents. Many families with elderly people are still struggling with the storm's aftermath.
We were blocked by debris after the storm. Pieces of glass fell down. Last night, they broke pieces of glass here so we could get out.
After more than a week, the power grid in Cat Hai district has only been restored to 85% capacity. However, the strong solidarity among the island district's residents is making the recovery progress much faster.
We have not finished cleaning. We are trying to deploy more forces to work on environmental sanitation.
Many families who lost their homes are now staying with the neighbors. People are generously sharing their belongings and food with each other. A new day has dawned on the island. Life will gradually return to normal, and soon the island will once again welcome tourists.
After Typhoon Yagi passed, recovery efforts were swiftly launched. From assisting in flooded areas to clearing fallen trees, images of foreigners lending a hand have demonstrated the community's strength in helping Vietnam overcome this difficult time. This spirit of solidarity and sharing has somewhat eased the losses left behind by the typhoon.
When Typhoon Yagi hit Vietnam, British couple Jennifer and husband were vacationing in Phu Quoc. Seeing the typhoon's devastating consequences, they decided to fly to Hanoi to contribute to the post-storm relief efforts.
We don't live here, we just travel Southeast Asia for a month. and we saw about the storm, so we decided we were in Phu Quoc, so we decided to fly to Hanoi to help. We just want to help everybody, and we just feel good by helping, because we feel sorry that all this mess. People just join together and help. It's just lovely here that everybody's joining together and helping.
For many foreigners who have lived and worked in Hanoi, cleaning up the streets is their way of showing love and gratitude for the country.
I've seen people like donating boats and stuff like that, and then some people can come out and help clean the city. So I think it's great. However anybody can pitch in and help is great. It's a lot of work, and I think they've done a good job of clearing the roads, getting things back to normal. So I'm very impressed, and just like the general way that people pitch in, everybody's been cleaning.
The special thing is that Vietnamese people have big hearts and are ready to work together. When there is an event like this, many foreigners and locals volunteer to join. I feel proud to be an expat living in Hanoi.
Natural disasters have a way of uniting people across racial and national boundaries. This display of solidarity offers a heartwarming glimpse of shared humanity.
We prepared convenient foods such as bread and sausages because there was a power outage in storm-affected areas. I want to join to repay all the times I received help. Vietnamese consider each other as family members. I always want to support the country during difficult times.
During the most challenging times, community solidarity proves to be the key to overcoming obstacles and restoring normalcy.
For nearly a month, heartwarming activities and events for children have been held across the Mekong Delta provinces to celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recently, the Full Moon Fund charity group from An Giang province organized a meaningful Mid-Autumn Festival for Cham ethnic children in Lama Hamlet, Vĩnh Trường Commune and Phu District.
For the first time, these students participated in a grand Mid-Autumn celebration. They were treated to lion dances, magic shows, and musical performances featuring the moon goddess and Gui, the man on the moon.
I feel very happy to take part in such a big Mid-Autumn celebration with gifts and performances.
Vĩnh Trường B Primary School has nearly 615 students. Most are of the Cham ethnic community. Life is difficult for many of these students, with their parents often working far away from home. Events like this provide great encouragement for them to excel in their studies.
Until now, the Mid-Autumn Festival was only celebrated internally at the school. This year, thanks to the Full Moon Fund, it has made a big impact in the Vĩnh Trường ethnic community. I hope that after this event, more students will attend school regularly.
The organizers distributed 500 Mid-Autumn gifts, each valued at over $8, and donated $406 to the school. They also provide 20 scholarships for hardworking students. Additionally, the group offered free medical checkups, haircuts, and portrait photography for the students.
Every year, for the Mid-Autumn Festival, the Full Moon Fund selects a special location in An Giang to host the event. Thanks to the love and support of our benefactors, we can give these children a joyful celebration.
For the 7th consecutive year, the Full Moon Fund charity group has brought Mid-Autumn celebrations to remote ethnic and border regions of An Giang. These events create a cheerful and warm atmosphere for children, while supporting local authorities in providing meaningful playtime during the festival.
Coming up next in our world news, Shanghai braces for Typhoon BEBINCA. And later on, Trump safe after new assassination attempt. Now moving on to our world news, Typhoon BEBINCA, a Category 1 typhoon, made landfall in Shanghai on Monday morning. This marks the strongest tropical cyclone to directly hit China's financial hub in 75 years. Shanghai has implemented numerous safeguard measures to prepare the city for the typhoon's impact.
Cargo crews secured ships to the port, and workers cut tree branches in Shanghai on Sunday as the city braced for Typhoon BEBINCA, in what could be the strongest tropical cyclone to hit the Chinese financial hub since 1949.
All ropes have been strengthened, and we have tarpaulins covering the cargo well. We will be fine if it's Category 10 gale.
We are now carrying out preparations as the typhoon is coming soon. Tree branches need to be cut to prevent the typhoon from toppling them down to the ground.
The Category 1 typhoon is packing maximum sustained wind speeds near its center of around 144 kilometers per hour. It made landfall in Shanghai at around 7:30 a.m. on Monday, bringing about 50 millimeters of rainfall by 8 a.m. In response, local authorities closed all highways across the city, reduced speed limits on urban expressways and overpasses to 40 kilometers per hour. More than 414,000 residents have been evacuated to safety. Additionally, all ferry services, highways, and parks have been closed for safety concerns. Uprooted trees have been seen along roadsides, and municipal workers have been busy with clearing operations since early Monday morning. The city has mobilized a total of 30,000 municipal workers, including electricians and police officers, and over 2,500 rescue teams, to be on call in case of any emergency.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump narrowly survived an assassination attempt on Sunday, the second in 2 months. The Republican presidential candidate fortunately remained unharmed. The assailant fired at least 4 shots from a distance of 365 to 457 meters toward Trump, then fled, abandoning a rifle and bags. U.S. Secret Service agents apprehended the suspect, Ryan Wesley Ruth, 58, from Hawaii. Ruth is known for holding extremist views and has previously criticized Trump on social media. Shortly after the incident, Trump assured supporters via his fundraising website that he was safe and unafraid. U.S. President Joe Biden condemned political violence and ordered the Secret Service to enhance security for the Republican candidate. SpaceX upgraded Crew Dragon spacecraft successfully landed off the Florida coast on Sunday, concluding the 5-day Polaris Dawn mission. The SpaceX crew made history as the first private astronauts to conduct a spacewalk. About 30 minutes after splashdown, the crew and spacecraft were safely retrieved by a recovery ship. The mission began on the morning of September the 10th, when a Falcon 9 rocket launched Crew Dragon into space, carrying 4 private astronauts into orbit. On September the 12th, these astronauts completed their groundbreaking spacewalk, marking a significant milestone in the commercial space industry. Previously, only government-trained astronauts had performed spacewalks. And up next, let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.